Hey there, Wade Belter here with Mountain Brook Farm, and today I am going to do the second part of making plantain salve. I use this on my horses. You can actually use it as like a show gloss by putting it on their nose. I don't know that I would get it like too close to the eye where it could get inside because it may cause some irritation, but and it's a healing salve that is plantain soaked in a jar of extra virgin cold pressed olive oil for over a month, and then I'm going to use a double broiler that I have set up right here. Cha-ching. I just kind of put something together to make that. If you have an electric stove, you may be able to just go ahead and melt your beeswax, which is the other ingredient, and then combine your oil from your plantain, because I'm going to put it through cheesecloth and separate the leaves from the oil. So it's pretty easy. So after your plantain has been jarred for over a month, then you can process it, and all you need is cheesecloth, beeswax, and I think it's going to be like 1 part beeswax to about 3 parts of the oil. So we just take and strain the plantain through the cheesecloth to separate the leaves, and then we're going to use our double broiler. And as you can see, I'm using my normal summer dress code for here on the farm, which is a white t-shirt, shorts, and sandals, because that's how we do it in Alabama. Okay, so here we are with the plantain, cheesecloth. I am going to use our glass mixing bowl because I can clean it out just easy. And you want to check your glass jars after they've been sitting for a month. If there's a skin at all on top of it, you just want to peel that off and discard it, which I have done here. This is kind of our compost bin. And so we're just going to go ahead and start to and I can already see it's got a nice rich green appearance to it. So now I'm going to get another piece of cheesecloth. I can cut it. Okay, so here we are. I've already poured a little bit of my plantain into the bowl, and I'm just going to empty some of the leaves into my cheesecloth, and I have that sitting on a paper plate. I'm going to bring this all up together. And then I'm just going to squeeze it through. So if you're sensitive to plant fibers or anything like that, if you have some kind of allergy, you might want to use some plastic gloves. I seem to only have a reaction to it if I'm ripping the fresh green leaves. I find it makes me cough, but there's quite a bit in here. Just going to try to really get everything I can out of there. Such a deep, rich green color. I really like that. Now you can save the leaves. Some folks do, and they chop it up and combine it into their salve, but I don't want chunks of leaves in my salve, so I'm going to separate it as much as I can. Just opening up my cheesecloth over here, and I'm dumping out the leaves. So once again, I'm going to put this back on my paper plate. Make sure to dump everything off the plate. And this is going to make a lot. I'm just using regular jelly jars so that they have a wider top, but you can use any glass jar you want. Just save or unique little glass jars, small or large. Some people like to carry it like when they travel, or such as that. Okay, so here is our plantain and olive oil, and I had picked a whole lot, so this is really concentrated. It's really rich. It's a very, very dark green, and as I was processing it by squeezing the leaves, separating the oil from it, it almost smells like it reminds me of walking into a cow barn or a dairy barn. It's got that kind of rich plant breaking down smell to it. So the next step is to use our double broiler if you have to cook over flame, or if you have an electric stove, you probably would not even have to use the double broiler. So here's our beeswax. I have more. So my plan is to melt this down and then add my plantain until it reaches the desired color. You can make it as concentrated as you want, so I'm just going to kind of go by the color. So you can break up your beeswax with a mallet and a screwdriver. It's pretty simple. The stuff is softer. You might find another way to do this. Should be good for now. Okay, I can already feel it starting to warm up. So I'm just going to add my wax. I'm just going to use a metal spoon. And you can see that it's melting pretty good, nice and slow. I have my plantain over here, and I'm going to use a measuring cup to know how much to add. Turning my water down. Something to know about beeswax is that it's highly flammable, and it can explode if it gets too hot. So, word of the wise, use caution. Turning my heat down, I can see the water boiling. Turning it down to low. Okay, so our wax has melted, and I'm going to add my oil. And you can see this wonderful chemical reaction with the wax because the plantain has cooled. I'm just going to stir it. Okay, so we're just going to test it and see what we have for color. And you don't want it to be solid wax, you want it to be somewhat greasy. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. Again, test it. If you get it too dilute, it's not going to set up, so. And this is setting up. And that's kind of what you want. You want it to be a salve, so it shouldn't just be wax. And the really awesome thing about this healing salve is you can put it on scrapes. I mean, I use it on my hands. When I get really chapped hands, it's really good. But the amazing thing about using it on animals is that animals are, 100% of their body is covered by a full coat of hair. So when you put this on a wound, it does not hold dirt, and it comes away from the area of the sore. Or if you use it as a show gloss, it'll dry just fine. You don't really have to wash it off at all. It just, the combination of the plant oils and the wax, it actually leaves the area that you apply it to resilient, and that's why I like it. So, and it's a pretty mild plant to use. I mean, it gives you a chance to kind of work with nature a little bit, and it's a pretty safe herb and plant or weed to use. So, I think I got it to where I want it. Now it's time to put it into jars. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over. And I've already got my handy little scooper here. Oops, spilled it. Try not to spill. Although it really won't hurt anything. So what would you use this on? Just minor cuts. Cuts and abrasions, Don't use it where you really need to see a doctor or something like that, but it's just for a show gloss, on a natural show gloss for your horse, or chapped hands, chapped and cracked hands. Some people put it on mosquito bites or bee stings or hornet stings. They really find it beneficial in that area. So here we are with our second batch, and just in case I run out of something here, I've got extra. And remember all of the plantain that we squeezed? I guarantee you we'll still be able to get some more oil out of this if I need to, but I think we're gonna be good. Okay, so this stuff has completely melted. This is our last batch. We're just going to combine our last bit of oil. And I kind of am guessing. The great thing about anytime you have a do-it-yourself project, you can get away from following an exact, precise recipe with some of this, and just have fun creating something useful. So I'm going to go ahead and test it. Once again, it's supposed to be a salve. And here we are back at it. You can see these have cooled, and you can see the color. It's kind of a nice green. There. So here you can see it's still not 100% cool, but these make really great gifts. The best gifts are always homemade. So, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this easy do-it-yourself project and learned something new about this plantain and making your own salve. If you have a friend that makes it, you might want to borrow some and just try it, see how you like it, and determine whether or not it's something you'd like to use on your horses or on your hands. And the only other thing I would say is that on the last video, when I was packing my jars and ripping the plantain, when you put your seal on there, you have to leave it open so that it can breathe, because when you set it out in the window for a month, it's going to still cook, but you're going to have to leave those lids loose. And if you get your oil, you know, like right up to the very top, if you got really packed jars, it's going to, as it cooks and stuff like that, it's going to seep out and over it. So you want to put it somewhere where it's not going to do that, or just use really good planning with packing your jars so that you leave a good space towards the top where you don't have plant and oil material right up there to the very top. Kind of leave your leaves a little bit more space to have oil up there. And that's about it. Good luck. Oh, before I say goodbye, for sure, I just wanted to come back and take a look at my jars, and they're all cooling pretty good. This is interesting. These are the last two that I used up all of my supplies on. So it looks like I've got some kind of a separation of liquid where I didn't have like the right ratio of wax to olive oil or something. Must be plant material, or I'm not sure, some kind of sediment. Weird. But what I can do is I can scrape this, or take the salve out and then just dump the liquid. So that's new. I never had that happen before. But I never made as large of a quantity as this either. So I solved that problem. It was just liquid, so I just removed the plantain and wax and put them in different jars and dump the liquid out. So that one's got a little bit of sediment in it. But my first ones look great.